So, what did Indian cricket do in 2022? Well, they raised hopes and raised hopes and then raised hopes some more. Then India got into the big tournament and the hopes just crumbled. But much more than that happened for Team India in 2022. From the captaincy change to the Rohit Dravid union to the emergence of Suryakumar Yadav as a world class white ball batsman to the arrival of Hardik Pandya as a future captaincy candidate, I've covered it all in this video, so stick around. First up, let's look at the Rohit Sharma Rahul Dravid partnership as leaders at the absolute helm of Indian cricket. What did we see under them this year? We saw some brilliant T20 cricket, ranging from number of sixes hit to power play batting average to highest scores to dominating the death overs with the bat. India topped the global charts in all of these and more. However, when it came to tournament play, whether it was the Asia Cup or the World Cup, India faltered at crucial stages and let 1.4 billion people down. I think it was this conservative approach and that constant fear of failure, which I think brought about India's downfall. They were just not being free enough. They weren't expressing themselves enough. The batsmen weren't expressing themselves, nor were the bowlers. Now, just take a look at India's bilateral series throughout the year, all of them. And just notice how India almost won everything. They literally nearly won everything. However, notice how many of these wins, in fact, most of these wins are 2-1. Now, a scoreline of 2-1 will win you a bilateral series, but when the knockout stages of the mega tournaments come, that one could be the crucial game that knocks you out and sends you home. And that one was unfortunately that humiliating 10-wicket thrashing at the hands of England in Adelaide in that World Cup semi-final. So my point is that even in India's bilateral series victories over this year, there were very few convincing series whitewashes, the equivalent of which you need in global tournaments, where you need to win absolutely everything. Only 46%, which is less than half of India's bilateral series wins, were whitewashes. Now compare this to England, the eventual champions of the T20 World Cup, okay? 81% of their bilateral series white ball victories were whitewashes, double of India's. And now that is the difference between a great team like India and a champion team like England. However, even though this was a big concern for Team India, there were many silver linings. And I'm going to look at 3 Indian players who greatly impressed not just me, but the entire cricketing community. 2 of them we already knew from before, and one was just like this new, fresh blood that Indian cricket desperately needed. And you know who that is? It's Suryakumar Yadav. For me, he was the player of the year overall, all countries, global put together. Here's the story of a man who was not in the Indian team 18 months ago because of, inconsistent IPL performances, whatever, and is today the number 1 ranked T20I batsman in the world. So, at the age of 31, usually the time when players are in the prime of their careers, this guy got his maiden call-up for Team India after he set IPL 2020 on fire. So he walked out in his India debut in Ahmedabad versus England in 2021. And guess how he opened his international account? By casually stepping across his stumps, bending low, and scooping Jofra Archer, a dangerously fast bowler, no pun intended, over fine leg, and just continuing on with his innings. Fast forward 12 months, and Sky had scored his maiden T20I 100 against England in England, announcing himself as the new big thing in world cricket. Fast forward another 6 months to today, and the guy has 3 T20I 100s, 1600 T20I runs in only 45 games at a staggering average of 44 and striking at a ridiculous 180. Yes, that is the story of Suryakumar Yadav. Sky is really the limit for this exceedingly talented guy. Those scoop shots he plays over fine leg are just unbelievable. Like, you cannot even think that the human body can move and bend or shape itself in such ways. And, he really is the new AB de Villiers, Mr. 360. He has received genuine and heartfelt compliments from many stalwarts of the game, including people like Sunil Gavaskar, Sachin Tendulkar, and even Virat Kohli. However, there's one compliment that he got recently that really stood out for me. India's first World Cup winning captain Kapil Dev had this to say about him, and I quote, "I have seen great batters like de Villiers, Vivian Richards, Sachin, Virat, Ricky Ponting, but very few can hit the ball as cleanly as him. Hats off to Suryakumar Yadav. These kinds of players come only once in a century. Now, this is the ultimate praise. Firstly, for it to come from a legend like Kapil Dev, to not just put you in the same league as legends like Sachin and Viv Richards, but to put you above them. And I completely agree. It's just, it's unbelievable what this guy has done. Suryakumar Yadav, he's changed the face of Indian cricket. I love it. On a lighter note, one small thing that I love about Sky is his routine every time he hits a six. So he casually steps across, does his thing, and whacks it out of the park in the place that he wants. Gets the crowd going, then with a smile on his face, chews some gum and goes and punches gloves with his awestruck partner, and repeats the same thing 10 times in an innings. If I was a bowler bowling to him, firstly, I hope I would not be. But if I was a bowler bowling to him, I would literally feel like no matter what I tried, I would just see the ball going into the stands. It can honestly be disheartening because see, for the full ball on or outside off stump, he has a glorious cover drive which he hits over the infield for a boundary. Then if you bowl anything from a good length to Yorker, he bends down low and scoops you over fine leg for six. Then you think, okay, I can try and bounce him out with a nice bouncer. Well, if you bowl a bouncer, guess what? That's his strength as well. He'll pull you over square leg. So in short, when you are bowling to him, he is the boss because he dictates where he wants to play his shots. So when you bowl a ball and you see it disappear for six, you try something else. But guess what? That's his strength. Even that's going to go for six. So when you're a bowler bowling to him, firstly, I would feel for you if you're a bowler bowling to him, and you have to just hope that he makes a mistake and gifts you his wicket. But that's not going to happen very often. Okay, moving on from Surya Kumar Yadav, the second Indian player that greatly impressed me in 2022 was an old warhorse, Virat Kohli. So I'm going to quickly take you back in time, flashback to November 22, 2019, when he smashed an impressive test century against Bangladesh at the Eden Gardens. That was his 27th test, 170th international ton. At that point, he was about what, 31, 32 years old. It literally felt as though he was scoring 100 in every single test and ODI innings he played. He looked well set to break Master Blaster Sachin Tendulkar's record of, 100 international tons. But, unfortunately for him, he endured an extremely lean patch for the next 3 years, for over 1,000 days, where we did not get to see a single international Kohli 100, which was painful to watch, of course. But imagine for him, from literally dominating the world stage for 10 years to not being able to hit a single international century for 3 years. That's right, 3 years, it would have really flustered him. He kept getting out and just did not look like the 2015 to 2019 Kohli. And as a result of this consistent drop in form, he gave up all formats captaincy. But this year, 2022, Virat Kohli came back. He came back in style. He took a break from cricket for 2 months. He said he did not touch the cricket bat for 2 months, something he had not done in his entire life. He came back and then he came back in style. In the Asia Cup in September, he ended his prolonged century drought by smashing his maiden 100 in T20 eyes by scoring 122 not out in Dubai against Afghanistan. And that was special. That was a special knock. So this was his 71st international century. Then he followed this up by scoring an ODI 100 in December against Bangladesh, then another one in the starting of January 2023, and then another one. So now he has 74 international centuries, 400s in the span of 5 months. So now here we are. Kohli has scored, like I said, he scored 4 international centuries in the span of 4 months. And he will look to continue this imperious form into 2023 and inch closer to Sachin's all-time record. But in 2022, we got to see Virat Kohli end his century drought and resume normal service of dominating world cricket. Now, again, the fans have started feeling like we need to count every non-100 Kohli innings on our hands. With these hundreds, he has announced to the world that you cannot keep the crown off the king's head for long. The third and final Indian player who repeatedly made headlines in 2022 was Hardik Pandya. Now, people criticized the then newly formed Gujarat Titans IPL franchise for signing him as their captain for the 2022 season. Hardik had missed a large part of 2021 because of injuries and stuff, and he still appeared to be that immature and young guy who just wanted to hit everything for six and just not captain material. Nobody, absolutely no one, me included, gave Gujarat Titans a single hope in hell to even make the playoffs of the IPL, forget winning it. But boy, did he prove the doubters wrong. He not only batted exceedingly well, scoring close to 500 runs in the season, but he also led Gujarat Titans admirably well to their maiden IPL trophy in their debut season. So it was then clear that he had matured to a responsible and experienced cricketer and after the IPL and was no longer that impulsive youngster who just tried hitting every ball for six but perishing. So he announced his arrival as a world-class player and leader, and he forced the Indian selectors to look at him as a possible captaincy candidate after Rohit. Then, after India's horrible showdown under in the T20 World Cup, the fans started demanding that Hardik be made captain. So the BCCI responded by picking Hardik as captain in the recently concluded T20I series against Sri Lanka at home, and he impressed by leading India to a 2-1 victory. Now, again, it's 2-1 and not 3-0. But anyway, 2022 was the year in which Hardik Pandya showed the world that he is a viable candidate for not just captaincy, but he's also a world-class all-rounder, one of the best in the world. So to conclude, 2022 was a very significant year for Team India. They lost the semi-final of the T20 World Cup, didn't make the final of the Asia Cup, but there were several positives from the year as well, like Suryakumar Yadav's exceptional batting in his first year in international cricket to be ranked the number one T20 batsman in the world today. Hardik Pandya announcing his name for potential India full-time captaincy by leading GT to a memorable IPL title, and King Kohli's imperious return to form. Now we have entered a World Cup year. That's right, the 2023 ODI World Cup is coming up. It's in India. It's in October, November this year. So India will be looking to find the right combinations and stuff at the earliest. So that's going to wrap for today. Thank you very much for watching. Like, subscribe, and see you soon. Bye.